A Burning Desire by Hannah Netting. The red mist descends when she sees him. Her teeth begin to grind, her body grows rigid, and her hands resemble claws. A thread of pain makes her left hand fall limp to her side, only moments later. It'd been such a shock to see Ritchie again. The turning of a page in a local paper and the story of his brother's engagement. Only the photo showed Ritchie grinning alongside him, his arrogant, grinning, toned physique. A photo to show off by. Nothing had changed. Dani slides back down on the seat, hands still fidgeting on the table and shaking before her. Her little fat is drab, bare, soulless, all of which she has felt since that day. Ritchie had taken everything away from her. Now she doubts he would even remember her. The article spoke of a well-calculated business venture that the brothers had been involved in. So he had it all then. Money and health. Another spasm works through her left arm and she realises she was still tensing. It took all her willpower to release the tension and slowly, oh so slowly, feel the spasm subside. When she thought of what he had taken from her, she hadn't deserved it. None of it. But she had had to endure it none the same. She bet he had not had to endure anything in his life. There was probably a stunning wife, several delightful kids, all to go with this wealthy, man-made good image. She had nothing. How was that fair? She fixed her eyes on the photo again, neglected the groom-to-be, focusing instead on Ritchie. And suddenly she is 14 again. He was kissing her. His breath smelt of citrus and coconut. With the heat of the lunchtime summer sun, it all felt quite a heady mix, and they had broken away. "You're so pretty," he said. Soon after his mother died. A cyclist not looking where he was going, they said. She died outright. Ritchie was devastated, but it was anger, not tears, that she saw in his eyes. "You're disgusting wearing that," he told her. "You're too fat." He would punish her for his mother dying. Tears of humiliation beaded her eyes. He broke up with her not long after and started dating Stacey Simmons. Dani's shame burnt brighter. She had had no way of knowing he had yet to play the worst, cruelest joke on her. It was sitting in science class when Ritchie had turned on the Bunsen burner and yanked Dani back by her ponytail. She had not known about the Bunsen burner being on until her arm brushed it when Ritchie pulled her back. Her whole arm went up like a taffeta, her choking, gut-wrenching screams, and the stench of burning meat as the flames went on to consume her were terrible. Most of the kids were screaming and running back, but Ritchie was watching. She could see the flames in his animated, evil eyes. He was watching her with wonder and laughing. Absent-mindedly, her fingers scratched at her left arm that had been destroyed by his actions. Changing schools and constant skin graft surgery took years, and did little to repair the pain and suffering he had inflicted on her. Every surgery a hope she would look normal again, all a blistering failure when she saw the result. The shame would never dissipate, never leave her. She could never move on, she was stuck. She had had boyfriends, but all had made their excuses and left when they saw. She was not desirable, not anymore. How dare he wreck her life? She wanted to make Ritchie pay. It was a burning desire infused within her, a fever that fueled her. All the years of suffering, and now it was his turn to hurt. But she needed a plan. She couldn't just walk up to him. She blinked, took a breath, and forced herself to read the article. Words barely registered in her head until she reached the last line. "Now interviewing for additional bar staff for the wedding." It seems Ritchie and his brother owned the bar where they were holding the wedding reception. Confusion unravelled like a ribbon in Dani's mind. This was it. She dialed the number and got herself an interview. "Is the groom conducting the interview?" she asked. "It's more of a meeting, and no, Steve can't attend the first day. It will be his older brother Ritchie," the lady told her. Perfect. Dani arrived at the King's Arms at Everley. The title feels raw in light of her reason for being there. She rocked on her kitten heels, fingers smoothing her red dress, and automatically tugging the sleeves of her jacket. She took a deep breath and walked with a steadiness that was not real through the door. Within the decor was dated. Crimson drapes hung limply from the walls. A fire in the grate, embers still aglow and shadowed corners greeting her. It was several moments before she spotted him. "Hi, I'm Dani," she said. She held out her hand, her good hand, to him. He barely looked at it, motioned for her to sit opposite him at the table and not waiting for her, sat down first. His appearance staggered her. He was straight-faced, stubble grazing his chin. His eyes looked raw and bloodshed. Sleep had clearly evaded him, as had clean clothes, as those he wore were creased badly. It was nothing like his photo. It was as if he had aged at least a decade, as he resembled the groom's father more than his brother. "Thanks for coming." His voice was low, hollow. He barely made eye contact, instead taking a swig of his beer. He didn't offer her one. "Thanks. Thanks for agreeing to meet me." "You have previous bar experience?" "Yes. College days." It was a lie. She left school as soon as she could. Taunts from the other school kids had shredded the last of her self-esteem. Good, he said, although his tone spoke otherwise. He raked his fingers through his hair, pulled a piece of tobacco gum from a tin in his pocket, into his mouth. She sat there in silence, considering him while he thumped his fingers on the table. The last log on the fire split in two and sparks briefly flew before descending back down. It was him that broke the silence. "I'm sorry, I found out devastating news last night. My father has pancreatic cancer. My brother, he doesn't know yet." "I'm sorry," she says, words she never expected to say. "I don't know how to tell him. How do I tell him when he's getting married in 2 days? The look of pleading mingled with his tears, reflected back in her own pupils. "I don't know," she said. He glanced down, raking his fingers again through his hair that had been neglectful of a brush. "Perhaps you wait?" "Wait?" He frowned at her, uncertainty clear on his features. "Wait until after the wedding. Let him have his special day." It's as if he is only just aware of her and taking her in. "He doesn't have long. This will shatter Steve. It's shattering me. When Mum died," he pauses. Dani feels a prickling sensation inch along her left arm. "When Mum died, I changed." "I doubt that." "I did. I turned into a monster, did bad things. I can't do that again. I can't be that person again. I just can't. I'm not proud of myself. It took me a long time to grow up, and I let down a lot of fantastic girlfriends, and even now an ex-wife along the way." He blinks, rubs at his eyes. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't be telling you this. You're not my counsellor, for God's sake." He's embarrassed. Raised voices interrupt them from outside, and Ritchie jumps up with a jerk. "Excuse me, I just need to..." He gestures outside and she nods. He walks away. She tugs on the clasp of her handbag, shoves her hand inside and pulls out a vial. Hydrochloric acid. Burns all the way down according to the search engine. She reaches for his beer and is relieved to see he still has half a glass of liquid left. Her hands reach over for the fastening, but her left hand drops away. She flounders at the unexpectedness of this. Does she still want to do this? Her arm asks. Is this really her? She's had so many years of wanting revenge and bitterness as she imagined Ritchie with his perfect life, but it is an image that doesn't exist. Seeing Ritchie has changed all of that. She felt no pleasure from his pain, not even a small flicker or a tiny morsel. His life, it seems, is far from perfect. In that moment, she realizes with a clear certainty. He is currently suffering, but she has found what she has been looking for 23 years. Closure.